I don't like to mess around with the shelves when I'm filming Shelve It or Scrap It, but I've just finished episode 26, which means I need to do a little bit of a reorganization because I have to find a home for all of these books that I've hauled in July. In my recent unboxing, which was my June unboxing, I did say at the end of that, because I was aware that that unboxing was a little bit bigger than it has been for a very long time. I mentioned that I haven't actually done an unhaul for a while, where I go through and look at everything on my shelves and pull out things that I maybe have read, don't really feel a need to keep hold of anymore, or things that I've had for a really long time and I don't think I'm ever going to pick up again. In terms of the stacks, they are lurking behind the cushions and beanbag that Carmi likes to lie on. We're currently at 24 books in there, which is real nice. We just got it down from 29. And throughout 2026, I've been doing a really good job of not adding too much to them. But I think, given that I got to find a home for all of these, that the stacks are going to get a little bit larger this month. I am comfortable adding 6 books to them, which would mean that I'd have to read 5 books per episode for the rest of the year, which I think I can do, but I don't really want to push it any more than that. But I do think, as well as adding a couple, I want to swap a few of those books out as well. But my main goal for today is to find a home for all of these books. Some of them, of course, will be heading into the stacks, but the majority of them will be going onto my shelves, my carts, pretty much wherever they will fit. And to accommodate that, I'm going to be going through and unhauling some of the older stuff that I'm no longer interested in. And then at the end, we're going to do a big old unhaul, because I actually haven't filmed a dedicated unhaul video this year, but I did do a small one with about, I think, 18 books that I'd read or DNF'd in one of my ultimate book videos. But if you look over here in this corner, this big stack here are all of the books I've accumulated to unhaul since I did that vlog, with the addition of this little tiny baby stack next to it. So I feel like a good place to start would be organizing the books into where they need to go, so I know where to focus my attention when I start pulling things off the shelves. So I went to a secondhand book warehouse in Bradford at the beginning of the month, because I love secondhand book shopping. I don't go in charity shops as often anymore to resist buying books secondhand. But when I found out there was a warehouse not far away from me with 100,000 secondhand books in, all at flat rate pricing, how was I supposed to resist? So I did pick up a ton of stuff from there, which a lot of these are the kind of books that I'm only going to read once, which is why I took the opportunity to pick them up secondhand. They're the kind of things that I'm interested in, but I don't anticipate wanting to keep on my shelves. So we have some thrillers, which we all know I love a palette cleansing thriller, but I don't often keep hold of them. Finally picked up Bunny by Mona Awad. I wanted to see what the deal was with this book, so I got that. Also, the selection was amazing. So I got the first book in some like formative fantasy series, as well as the first book in Con Iggulden's Mongolian Empire series, because given the kind of fantasy that I tend to enjoy, I feel like I'll also enjoy historical epics, so I want to give them a try. And like, some of these are in amazing condition considering the age of them as well. I also picked up a copy of One Day, because mine was like actually deceased, you'll see in the unhaul section, so that actually has a slot on the shelf that it can just go straight into. This I've been interested in reading for a while, but even more so now the second movie's coming out. And I also took the opportunity to pick up a copy of The Familiar by Leigh Bardugo. So the majority of these, actually, I have a cart over here by my desk that I used to have a lot of books on, that are kind of the books that I want to read but don't want to keep, like they fit into that category. And I decided I didn't want books on that cart anymore because I wanted to have room for some stuff next to my desk. I do still feel that way, but given what we're dealing with, I do feel like I'm gonna have to open that up to put some of these books on. So I want to put these ones somewhere else, but I think these guys I definitely want to get on there. And then these ones, I have a shelf under the window, which I might see if I can rearrange to try and get the mass market paperbacks on, because I have some over there. And that one I want to get onto my normal shelves if possible. I had an issue with my romance bookshelves. I had packed them a little bit too tightly and they were like popping apart. So I had to take something off some of the more tightly packed shelves, which is how these guys ended up downstairs. These are probably going to go into the stacks because obviously their home is, they don't fit there anymore, but they ended up in my haul just because I don't add to the stacks or try and touch my shelves during an episode of Shelve It or Scrap It. So that's 4 of the 6 books I want to add to the stacks already. I do think that a lot of these though will be a case of reading once, enjoying them in the moment and unhauling. So great for Shelve It or Scrap It. These guys you may only have seen in vlogs. I've been to a couple of events this month, so I have some proofs that I picked up there, and this is one of my anticipated releases of 2026. So I kind of want to put this on my TBR cart, but I don't know if I'll have space for it. These guys are for release in September and October, so will also be going on my TBR cart, which that's gonna be fun. And then these ones, that one is a 2027 proof actually. This one is called Nice Things All the Time by Nancy Tucker. I'm pretty sure it's a debut, but the author was on a panel at the event and it sounds so good. It is I'm assuming like a rom-com style romance, but the 2 characters are trapped in limbo between life and death, and they have to make the decision of whether they want to go on to whatever comes next or come back to the real world, which sounds so interesting. So I'm really excited for that. Another romance, like I don't know if it's paranormal, but I think it's definitely gothic. Obsessed with the cover though. So I'm so happy that they had this on offer because I was eyeing it up in Forbidden Planet before the event. I've never read a book by Beth O'Leary, so I thought I'd try that out. And this was like a romance that they had on offer that I'd seen around, so I thought it would be a good opportunity to sample that as well. So these guys don't need to go on my TBR cart. However, no space on my romance shelves for these. So I'll put these in the pile for the stacks and this maybe for my main shelves. And then all of these are the ones that were featured in my unboxing video. Once again, a romance. The stacks are about to get real romance heavy. This is a little sci-fi horror romance novella. These are for my main, is that main shelves or romance shelves? Might even put it on the TBR cart because it's out around about now. So it would be a good time to read it and it's short. Regular shelves for these. Book 1 in this series is my current read actually. I haven't started it yet, but I will be tonight. So if I hate it, won't be keeping these much longer, but I'm expecting to enjoy it. So they're also main paperback shelves. This one I would like in the stacks because I'm pretty sure it is going to be featured in a subscription box I'll be getting soon. So I'll end up with an extra copy of it. So I'll keep this to read. We'll probably unhaul it afterwards. I have more than one edition of this, so that should go in the stacks. This needs to go upstairs because I'm going to be doing a full series on the first year of the Broken Bindings sci-fi and fantasy sub. So that can be out of the way. This one I guess needs to go upstairs. If one's going in the stacks, one needs to go upstairs. These guys I'm not sure if I want to keep given how I feel about the series that this spins off from. Unfortunately, I had ordered them and they had shipped before I finished that original series, so I couldn't stop the order from coming to me. My fault, honestly, for committing to these sequels to a spin-off series where I'd only read book 1 of the original series and I thought, hey, I liked that, so I'll like the rest. That didn't happen. But I think what I want to do is maybe try and shelve these and get book 1 off the shelves and into the stacks. This is not going to go well. And then also for the shelves behind me, because that's where I display a lot of my nice editions of some of my favorite books. Oh, don't hurt them. We have the Locked Library editions of the Nevernight series by J. Kristoff. So I said already I only want to add 6 books to the stacks, 4, 5, and we already have 9. So I guess we're going to be swapping some of those out to get these on as well. So I have my work cut out for me. I'm going to start with the cart for the secondhand books, I think, because I feel like that will be quite an easy one to just like put things on. And then if I have more space on there, it might give me more space to move some things from somewhere else onto there as well. First off, the books that I took out of here. My house, I don't know if it's because it's an old house, but it is like a dust trap. I really need to get this book out at some point and actually read it. I didn't like The Night Circus, which is why I've been putting it off since it was literally released, but I need to bite the bullet at some point. But as you can see, aside from The Starless Sea, these are all very random secondhand books that I have in here, apart from One Day in December, which is a Christmas romance, so I'm not going to read it until obviously the appropriate season, and there's no space on the romance bookshelves. So we'll start off by getting the 2 hardbacks in. I don't want to overfill this, given that I've already done a lot of work during, I'm pretty sure, the last year, because this was a full bottom section. The bottom 2 sections were full, and I've been whittling it down using things like Shelve It or Scrap It over the last couple of years, so I don't want to like completely fill it all the way again, but it's nice to know that I do have a little bit more space here if I end up needing it. Oh, forgot one. So for the big boy shelves, I definitely want to be taking Iron and Embers off, because this is hopefully going to go into the stacks, and that was quite a big book, and this shelf wasn't ridiculously tightly packed, so I may be really lucky and I may be able to get both of these on. I don't know which one's book 2. Silver and Smoke is book 3, so they go that way. I feel like I'm just slightly off. I do want to take some standalones that I've read off here. I haven't read that though, so that doesn't count. You know what, I'm gonna do it. Ugh. But now I have too much space, but I could put another book on here instead. I'll be right back. Just grabbed this from the stacks because it's teeny tiny. Ugh, might just slide right in. There we go. This may be more of an elaborate solution than it needs to be, but I want to put my Victoria Aveyard books with the rest of the series, because I have the UK large paperbacks that they released of the first 3 books, and then hardbacks of the final book and the short stories. Kind of makes sense for them all to be together though. So that means that I have to move all of these along. I should have brought my stool. If you like Shelve It or Scrap It, this is essentially just a bonus episode, but with no reading. Just shelve it and scrap it. I like to shelve prequels chronologically within the series, but I think because we're tight up here, I'm gonna have to put it at the end of the series instead. I did actually mention in the last episode of Shelve It or Scrap It as well that I'm thinking of taking all of my standalones off here and having this be mainly series or books all by the same author, so I might take this upstairs because it's pretty big as well. And I now have another gap up here. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. My gaps aren't in the right places. Just gonna stash an arc behind here as well while I've got it open. Ah! Pokey, no! I really need to get these on the shelves because I have dropped them twice now already in this video, and I'm sick of my own shit. Oh, what a perfect fit. And I also have a gap up here if I can find something small. So I might be heading back to the stacks again. Or I could take out this, because this also could go upstairs. And then I've made space for something big. I found Catabasis, which works really well because you can't quite see, but the first book over here is Babel. So essentially the book after Empire of the Dawn is Babel. So if I move the Will of the Many, Catabasis should fit very nicely in here with a little bit of room to spare, which I'm actually not going to worry about too much because any kind of gaps that I leave give me an advantage for Shelve It or Scrap It. So from this little adventure, I have these to rehome and also these. And you know, we actually still haven't found anything to unhaul. So first book up for unhaul, oh, this is tight, is Lady of the Lake by Jean Menzies. I don't see myself ever getting around to this one. That obviously has not created anywhere near enough space. I do have a little bit of space that I've created in the stacks now because I took 2 books out, which I mean we're going to fill anyway. I want to read this because I really like the Italian inspiration of it, but I didn't like the last book that I read from Isabel Ibanez. I might just throw, let's say, these 2 books into the stacks because this shelf gets really neglected. So anything that goes up here, honestly, it never really gets taken into consideration for anything. They're too thick though. Okay, rewind. This one has been here for a really long time, so we'll put which sign in, and that one can go in there because that one hasn't been around too long. Where did I leave my books? And I actually have a little bit of space left, and some of these books I have already read. They're not all unread books. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, I'm gonna throw the Anthropocene Reviewed on there as well. This one can go straight in there. And I have at least 6 books that I'm trying to get on here. I feel like I'm not gonna have to take anything else off these shelves, for now at least. Oh my god, my first Q author. I still got space. Let me go back to that cart that I've just filled. Okay, I brought a few options. Oh, why do I have a gap here? Oh, there's a book out. L-H-I-J. Oh my god, why can't I fill this gap? H? I can fill H. Alice. Stunning. The other gap, we're just gonna have to leave for now. So from that shelf, I have pulled out Honor Among Thieves by Rachel Caine and Anna Guire. This one is a young adult sci-fi that I've had on my shelves since it was published. I think someone offered it to me or it was sent to me by the publisher, and then I just unfortunately didn't get around to it. 2018, so I've had this on my shelves for 8 years and have not picked it up yet. Very little interest in doing so. And then the Agatha Christie's, my mum was a big fan of Agatha Christie, and I watched the TV show Partners in Crime, which gave me an interest in the books. At this time, I don't really have an overwhelming interest in Agatha Christie, but I do have a lot of my mum's old Agatha Christie books as well. So I actually might store these with her old books, because murder mystery, not really my thing. There's no real need for me to store these on my shelves when I could put them in a box with a bunch more Agatha Christie books. So here's the TBR cart, which, as you can see, we are already struggling for space. I can take this off though, actually, because this was sent to me by the publisher for the paperback release, but it's not an ARC, so I don't have a solid deadline for this. I just want to read it sometime soon. Let me take this off for just a moment. From here to the right is what I've read so far this month. This is my immediate TBR, but also like all of these as well. And then I also have 3 books behind, like at the back of the cart, because as I'm reading, I take them from the end and put them behind so I can fit the books that I've read on. So something I think that we could do potentially is cull some of the short hardbacks that we have down here. I have a vendetta against a small hardback. I don't know why I'm so against them, but I truly think that they are the worst format of book to ever exist. Oh, we also have a couple of paperbacks here that came off the cart as I've been trying to filter them into other places. So I think I'm quite happy at this point to get rid of Cryer's War by Nina Varela. That one can go. Definitely want to keep Middle Game. I'm looking at that gap that we've got as well. It's around the Q. It has to be between like M and R in the alphabet, and these short hardbacks do fit on those shelves. Sean Maguire I think is a bit too thick. Can I just like... Okay, I'm happy with that. I'm actually gonna take this off because I do have a gap at the bottom. Oh my God. Because I do have a gap at the bottom of my paperback shelves that, where is it? It's at the back. This one, Ashes of the Sun by Django Wexler, came out of that gap, but this is going to be on this cart for a couple of months, so I might as well just fill that gap in the meantime. If I move along, some of these are older review copies. I still like to keep them on here so that I keep them in mind and they don't just blend into the rest of my library. Anything that has already passed, we'll slide over a bit. January. And then August, September. Oh, this one's August as well. Okay, I need more space. Could try and get Sean and Maguire on, I'm just not overly optimistic. This one is like May next year. Oh, October 1st. And then, you know, it's unorthodox, but sorted. I don't know what to do with this. It's like on my TBR, but it's like not like, you know, on my TBR. Can just be a problem for later, you know what? Okay, no, that can't be. I actually don't even know if I would like this one because I'm not a big fan of like foresty fantasy, but I do have a space for it at the minute. Absolutely not. Oh, actually it doesn't even go there. Ah. Nope. There is a book over here I've been eyeing up for Unhaul for a long time, which is Among the Beasts and Briars by Ashley Poston, because once again, don't love forest fantasy. So I wonder if that'll help. Could move Harrow and then that will fit there. I was about to head over here anyway, because I know that this top shelf is too short for regular paperbacks, but I was wondering, oh, no, it's too short for mass markets as well. That completely ruins my plan, or does it? So down here, as you can maybe just about see, I have a bunch of mass market older fantasy. So I have the first Dragon Riders of Pern book, as well as The Magician by Raymond D. Feist. I have some of Anne Rice's books as well. And I also have these two books by Kristen Cicerelli, which honestly, given their size, I could put these up here if I unhaul something off here, which there are a couple of books that could maybe go, which would allow me to turn these guys, which would maybe allow for a few more books. Can I fit the last one in? No. Can I maybe turn like these ones and maybe Interview as well? To take all of the rest of them. Oh no, this one doesn't. I think we'd have to go that way. I still have a book that won't fit. There's just one book that's not going on. Can I get it in here? Oh my god. Beautiful. I actually really like, I'm gonna bring you guys down a bit. I love mass market fantasy paperbacks. Look how nice they all look. So over on this side, we have this big old indie fantasy book from Elliot Brooks. This was the first book in her Dark Shores series, which I got this shortly after it was published and I read it, I enjoyed it. But it was published in 2018 and so far no sequel. And I'm not sure where Elliot is up to with that either. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop that in the unhaul. And then, will it fit? Oh, yeah, that's right. That's alphabetically correct. It's a bit tight, but it works. And then A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. That one can actually just go right back in there. So just a little recap of where we are currently at. I have 5 books for unhaul. I have 3 books going into storage. I have 10 books waiting to go into stacks, which is the biggest problem. And then currently 4 books waiting to go upstairs. Oh, and then this, I guess we'll put this here because that actually is just floating around in between places now. So I guess before I go upstairs, we're going to sort out the stacks because what I'm anticipating now is that we're going to be pulling out hardbacks in exchange for paperbacks, which means I'm going to end up with a bigger stack of books to go upstairs. Currently have 24 books in the stacks, and I said I'd be comfortable increasing it by 6, and I do have 6 books that I definitely want to go in there. The first 3 are the books that came off my romance shelves that are currently homeless. Iron and Embers, the sooner I read this the better, so I can make a decision on the whole trilogy and whether I want to keep the special editions. I anticipate my verdict is going to be I'll keep them to read them and then unhaul them as I go, but we'll see how the first book goes. This one, I need to know how much I love it so that I know how many editions of this I need to keep. And this one is a standard edition of a book that I'm about to have 2 editions for. 99% sure once I've read this, I won't keep the standard edition regardless of how I feel about the book. But obviously, I'd rather read a standard edition than risk ruining a special edition. So I want to keep the books in the stacks changing a little bit, so it's not like the same selection that we're choosing from every single month. But there are some books in here just because they've rotated in. There are some books in here, like the ones that I've just put in, that are here for a specific purpose. So I usually random number generate to decide which ones are coming out. But I think before I do that, I'm gonna have to split the stacks into books that can't come out and books that can, so we know what we're pulling from. So I accidentally stopped recording when I was putting the Hoover away, but I have organized the stacks into 2 towers. So we have the ones that are staying. Some of these are just because I want them to. We have duplicate editions, we have sequels. I like to keep a couple of thrillers in here, and when I've read a couple, I normally put more in, so that's why they're staying. And then we have the expendables, the ones that can be rotated out. So what I do every month, because I've actually had a couple of questions about this, I think, if I haul a certain amount of books, so here we have 5 that are potentially going to go into the stacks, I normally put half of the books that I've hauled into the stacks, and I use random number generators to decide which ones are going in and also which ones are coming out. So I'm going to start by generating, should we do 2 or 3? Some of these have been in here for a while, so we'll do 3 of these are going in and 3 of these are coming out. And then if I have to go upstairs and find space on my romance shelves, then that's just what I'm going to have to do. But we'll start with the stack. So number 4 is going in, which is amazing because that is definitely one that I wanted to prioritize. It's the one with the beautiful cover. And then the maximum is now 4. And number 1 is going in, which is Silver Cloak by L.K. Stephen. And then number 3 is going in, which actually that had to go in anyway because it already came from upstairs, which is The Brave and the Reckless by Dylan Dyer, which means that I'm going to have to try and find a home upstairs for Swept Away and also When Sparks Fly. If you haven't noticed, I will do literally anything in my power to avoid making a decision, which is why we do this like this. So we have 14 books in this side of the stacks, and the first book coming out is number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not super mad about this one. I am expecting to enjoy it. It's The Sun and the Star Maker by Rachel Griffin, but also this has like strong winter vibes, so I feel like I could push it off for a couple of months just in general. Next up, number 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This one is slightly unfortunate. Sign Here by Claudia Lux. I've had this one for a really long time, but I still really want to read it. It is a satirical horror featuring like Devil's Secretary or something like that. Sounds like a good time. It's just not the kind of book that I ever prioritize because obviously I mainly read fantasy. Oh, I generated that without you guys seeing, so we'll do it again. Number 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I am a little bit sad about this one because that one is Never Ever After by Sue Lynn Tan. Sue Lynn Tan is a Fairy Loot favorite author, but an author that I have not yet read anything from. So I didn't mind having this in the stacks as like a test for Sulintan, but the number generator has spoken. So these 3 are going in and these 3 are coming out, which means I now have 9 books to find a home for upstairs, 2 on my romance shelves, and the rest of them are going to be going into cardboard boxes because I don't have the shelf upstairs up and running again. So we're just going to do what I normally do for shelf it or scrap it, which is a 1 in 1 out policy. To get 7 books in, I'm gonna have to unhaul 7 books. We are firmly in the land of renovation chaos. This is a radiator that I moved to be able to get to these bookcases, but we're going to be working with the bottom of these because we are looking for around the letters M and O in the alphabet. So what are we going to unhaul? I am unsure about this one. This is Chalet Girl by Victoria Prince. Penguin Michael Joseph sent this to me to feature for a giveaway that they were doing. So they essentially sent me the books for the giveaway just so that I could make the content. This one I absolutely would not have picked up otherwise, but it is a festive romance and I don't have any of those anymore aside from the one that we saw earlier, which is why I kept hold of it and I do still want to give it a try. This is hard. I don't know if I want these anymore. I read the first Black Dagger Brotherhood book and I did really enjoy it. And then I found this one secondhand and it's like book 6. So I don't have book 2, so I can't continue, which is why I haven't. But also I just feel like these are books that I don't want to keep. You know, like I would maybe pick them up secondhand, read them, unhaul them, or get them on Kindle, get them from the library, although to get them from the library implies intent to actually actively pursue the series. I am interested in continuing though, even though it's paranormal romance. I did really enjoy book 1, but there's like 30 of them. I'm not actually going to collect all of them, so I feel like they should go, but I actually don't want to unhaul them. All of the stuff that I haven't tried on here, I want to try. The Casey McQuiston books I'm never going to reread, but I did really enjoy them, which is why I still have them. But then I also have not even thought about picking anything up from Casey McQuiston like that's been published since. Emma Hamm's books, I don't think I'll like Emma Hamm, honestly. I don't know why, it's just a feeling that I have. And all of Emma Hamm's books are on KU. But then also all of C.N. Crawford's books are on KU as well. But I still have Infernal Magic. I don't know. Forget Me Not and For Her Consideration. These are 2 Afterlight books that I'm also not 100% sure that I would enjoy, but obviously I won't know unless I try, and I'm still vaguely interested. And there's nothing up there that's jumping out at me. Laura Pavlov, I have 2 of the books in. Also this one, Perfect Summer Romance, want to give it a try. This is just a random author I discovered at Rare. Laura Pavlov, 2 books that I think these were both on the free tables at Rare. These are the first books in 2 of her like small town romance series, and I want to try those. Although I know at least one person has told me that they didn't like them. Part of me wishes this was shelve it or scrap it, because then I could actually try a book in exchange for one of the ones that I'm trying to shelve. It's gotta be these, hasn't it? Maybe I should just make a conscious effort to actually, I could get these off Libby. I am so sure that they're gonna be on Libby. Just given the scope of that series, I think no matter, unless it was like a complete 5-star series for me, which I don't think is especially likely, I just don't think that I would ever commit to owning the whole thing. They actually have bind-ups of like the first 4 books and then the second 4 books, and they're just like available to borrow right now. So I absolutely don't need these, given that it's unrealistic that I would ever collect the whole set. So let's see if that will allow me to move some stuff. I also have to remember not to pack these too tight, because that's how we ended up in this situation to start off with. Okay, Bethel Leary. I've run out of space because I have a gap here that I can't fill. Oh, that one fits. Okay, so we do have some M's here, so I could actually, yeah, perfect. While we're still over here though, I do have a tiny bookshelf down here, which was a spare bedroom one that was moved out when the bathroom was being fitted and they were storing like random things in the spare bedroom. So I moved it into just like the little alcovey bit there. It needs a proper home. When everything goes back to where it belongs, we'll sort that out. But Where Shadows Meet by Patrice Caldwell. It's a young adult fairy loot from March last year. And it's vampires and some other winged creature, which vampires, I mean, I know I've just been saying I enjoy the Black Dagger Brotherhood, and that's kind of like an exception when it comes to paranormal romance for me, especially of that nature. But like young adult vampires, I don't know. So I'm going to add this one to my unhaul pile. There are so many people out there who are rabid for vampires who would love to have that are not me. And I'll put one of these books in its place. Maybe The Sun and the Star Maker. Oh my god. I feel like I need to do, I mean, I could do vlog challenges for eternity. I have so many ideas for them, but I feel like a shelf by shelf one would be really fun to prioritize random little places that I don't look in very often. Okay, then let's dig into some boxes. I thought that I would have a quick look at this bag before I open up the boxes, see if there's anything in here. And two come to mind. We have A Treachery of Swans by A.B. Poranek. Also Sing Me to Sleep by Gabby Burton. This one might be like mermaids or sirens or something. It's a super old loot from June 2023 actually, and it's sirens. And this one I think is some sort of like swan princess retelling, centers around music. Very nice naked hardcover though. So I'm actually going to look up the average rating for these two. The Goodreads rating isn't like the be all and end all, but if I'm 50-50 about something and it has a low average rating, then that's a sign to me that I shouldn't pursue it. And if it has a really high rating, then I'll give it a chance, even though it doesn't necessarily sound like something I would love. This one has a 3.72, which is above average, not amazing. And then Sing Me to Sleep, that one has a 3.82. See, now I'm undecided. I was hoping that they'd either be terrible or amazing, but that's just like, they're just normal average ratings. I'll put them to one side for now because I'm looking for 6 books in total. So let's start with this one. This one's a book that I read. I really enjoyed. It was a wild ride, but I'll probably never reread it. That's a maybe. I'm actually going to get this one out just in general because it's going on my August TBR, which probably has gone up by the time this video does, but I haven't filmed it yet. Stardust Thief by Chelsea Abdullah. Pretty mid on that. 3.97. See, that one's a little bit more promising in the rating. House of Marion by JL. I'm pretty sure I have already looked that one up before and it is quite well regarded, so I've hung on to it. 3.62, but it's like a assassin, isn't it? Perilous Dark Magic. See, this sounds more interesting to me than some of the ones I put aside, but is less well liked. I'll put that to one side, we'll see. Last Hour Between Worlds by Melissa Caruso. I don't know what it is that puts me off about that book, but it's also one that I never reach for. I'm pretty sure there's another young adult vampire book in here somewhere that I could unhaul though. 3.78, middling. I did really want to give this a try, but after I really didn't like the sequel to, what's it called? I really loved the first book in the duology, The Poison Heart. I love this Poison Heart. I really dislike this Wicked Fate, which has kind of put me off Sleep Like Death. Kesha Chow, I'm still interested in. I don't like Susan Dennard's other series, Truth Witch, but I kept hold of that to give it a go. I also like the cover, the Illumicrate cover. 3.65. That one is on its way out, given that it's got a pretty low average rating and I already have disliked Susan Dennard in the past. I don't feel the need to keep hold of that one. This one doesn't seem like it's my thing, but I do like Roshani Chokshi. The Nightblood Prince by Molly X Chang. I think that one might be vampires. This one is a very recent fairy loot romantasy. I don't like mermaid romance. And when I say these things, there are of course exceptions to every rule, but I heard that this one was receiving quite a bit of hype. 3.63. So maybe. The Gilded Crown by Marion Gordon. Where did did this one come from? Oh, this one's a locked library book, but I think it's one that sounded a little bit more interesting. Oh, I think I found the vampire book that I was looking for. Cruel Illusions by Margie Fuston. This is a YA vampire one, but it does sound a little bit more interesting than the other one. It has like magicians and illusion magic in it. And it says Caraval meets Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It's from December 2022. 3.51. Okay, given that that is young adult vampires and low rated, that one can definitely go. So I have 2 definites and like 7 maybes right now. Ooh, A Feather So Black by Lyra Celine. This is another one that's given like fairy tale, swan princess vibes, or what's the Natalie Portman movie, Black Swan? Is it giving Black Swan vibes? A Changeling Princess, Wicked Fair Folk. 3.7, that's like mid. This is one, actually, these Hollow Vows, that I was very wary of because while it sounded good, the art on it just kind of made it look like Sarah J Maas fan fiction, which a lot of romantasy can be. There's a lot of good romantasy out there, but there's also a lot of romantasy that's just ripping off Sarah J Maas. That one's quite well rated. Oh, is this one that I hadn't heard good things about? Although I do love the art on the cover of this one. 3.27. Maybe that one can go. This one is YA Fairy Loot, although I'm not sure when from. I don't think it's like super old. I really liked the original cover of this one as well. So 2024. So I've got 3 definites now. Oh, what about Thistlefoot? This is definitely folkloric magic. It is like a house with chicken legs things though, which I think could be interesting. Oh, that's from the book. Oh, this was one of the adult books from January 2024. I thought that was a YA. Read all of those because I separated them recently. Oh, Emily Varga, I want to read that. Okay, I think I've dug out enough books. 3 definites, and I have 4, 5, 7 maybes. I think we'll definitely go with Blackthorn. I don't foresee myself ever rereading this. It's like a very weird, fever dreamy romance, but like horror kind of vibe. Oh, it's making me want to keep it now though. I don't need a hardback of it. And then of the others, that one sounds more interesting, so I think I'll keep that one. When I read this Poison Heart, I did mention that I also had this book, and a lot of people said that it wasn't as good. And it's also is it like a Snow White retelling? Yeah. And I don't love fairy tale retellings anymore, especially like young adult ones. There's some that I read like a decade ago that I really liked, but it's not something I've been enjoying recently. And there are books from Kaylin Bayron that I am really interested in picking up. I think she has a couple of slashers. You're Not Supposed to Die Tonight might be one. And I love me a young adult slasher, but this type of book I don't really think is for me. And then I just need one more. I think I'll keep this one for now because it's pretty new. I have to choose between these 3. Did I dig all the way down in this one? Oh, I have not heard good things about this, and I've had it a long time now. It's like urban fantasy with fae, I think. Average rating isn't terrible. Oh, is this one like Dark Academia? Yeah, that one sounds interesting. I think, is this one also Dark Academia? A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross. Oh, I'm so torn. I only have one more to decide on. I'm gonna choose between Treachery of Swans and The Last Hour Between Worlds. And I think of the 2 of them, this one sounds better to me. So I'm unhauling A Treachery of Swans. So now that everything has a home, the only thing I have left to do is show you guys the rest of the books that I'm unhauling. But this has taken me longer than I anticipated. So I'm actually just gonna go make dinner and I'll come back tomorrow to go through that stack with you guys. So to start us off, oh no. Here are all the books that I've pulled from the shelves throughout the course of this video that I'm going to be unhauling. I am, though, a little bit torn now about Peace and Turmoil because after I pulled this from my shelves, I did a little bit of research, and book 2 in this series has actually been released. It is an indie series, so I checked on Amazon and they don't seem to have a hardback available of book 2, and because it's indie, once again, they're both available on Kindle Unlimited. So I might still unhaul this one, but I do want a little bit more time to think about it because I honestly just completely missed that book 2 in this series had been released. So now I need to think about like a reread to continue on with this series as well. But we did pull 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 books from the shelves. And then we have another 22 to talk about. They were better organized than this, but they've all collapsed. So first up, I am finally giving up on A Darker Shade of Magic by V. Schwab. If you guys don't know, my relationship with V. Schwab is very hit or miss. She has actually written some of my favorite series, which is the Villain series. I'm so excited for book 3, and also The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. And then the rest of her books I'm very ambivalent about. So about 12, 11 years ago now, I read the first 2 books in this series whenever book 2 was published, and that was back when I used to reread to continue on with the series. So I was waiting for the release of book 3, and honestly I was never that invested to continue, but I had it in my head that because so many people love this series that I was the one who was wrong about it, and so I should give it another try. It's been like 10 years though, and now that I've read almost everything else from V. Schwab, I know that sometimes she doesn't work for me, so this probably doesn't work for me, and it's time for me to give those up instead of saying over and over again that I'm going to reread the series and finish it, even though I know I'm not going to do that. I'm also going to be unhauling the 5 Broken Blades series by Mike Holland, which I just finished in the last episode of Shelf It or Scrap It. I really enjoyed the first 2 books in this series. I thought that it was really fun, but the third book didn't do, I guess, what I wanted it to do for the final book in a series, and I'm probably never going to reread these, even though I think they're a good time. I've had what I wanted from this series, so I'm going to be passing those on. The majority of these as well are books that I have read and decided that I don't need to keep, with a couple of exceptions. But I also read The God and the Gumiho by Sophie Kim and was just kind of ambivalent about it. This one is constantly compared to a K-drama, but I just don't feel like it had the level of tension that I expect from something that is aiming to be akin to a K-drama, and it fell kind of flat for me. I really enjoyed this Vicious Grace by Emily Thaidi, but I have no desire to continue on based on the way that the extension of the plot to go into the sequel was kind of shoehorned in there, and also that the general regard, like people in my comments have said that book 2 isn't as good as book 1. I'm happy to pass on that. Apples Never Fall by Leanne Moriarty is actually one of my 5-star reads of this year. It is like a slice of life family mystery about a family that run a tennis school, and the mother of the family goes missing. All of the children are adults, but it's about their complicated relationship with their parents, with tennis as a sport, as they all come together to try and find out what's happened to their mother. I really enjoyed this one. It was not what I expected, not what I typically read, but I felt like it executed everything that it set out to really well, so I couldn't fault it. But I don't really need to keep a copy. I very recently, sadly, DNF'd The Dawn of the Firebird by Sarah McGall Rana, which is unfortunate because I really expected to love this one. It has one of my favourite story structures, which is somebody infiltrating an academy to break it apart from the inside. But I didn't love the writing. It felt a little bit info-dumpy, and I felt like we were prioritising heavy-handed information about the world as opposed to character connection, which I felt was important given that there are a lot of atrocities in this book and a lot of shocking and horrific things that happen to the character. I'm unhauling my copy of One Day by David Nichols. This is dead though. This was secondhand when I bought it, and I read it, I'm gonna say 12 plus years ago, so she's just a little crusty, a little dusty, and I've replaced her with a copy in much better condition. I had an arc of Hot Desk by Laura Dickerman, which was marketed as like a Rivals office romance rom-com kind of situation. It's actually more of a contemporary story dealing with one of the main character's mothers as she's called in to investigate the estate of this dead writer, and these two rivals are competing over who gets to handle the estate and publish the unpublished works of this author, and it ties into one of their mothers. It was kind of like a mix between a romance and The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid, but I just feel like it should have gone with one or the other. I didn't think that the romance was necessary. I didn't have like overall positive feelings about it. I recently read The Wicked Deep by Shea Earnshaw. Really enjoyed this one. If you like contemporary witchy stories, I would say give it a go. I just won't ever revisit it. I'm currently a Penguin Michael Joseph Siren, which is essentially an ambassador for the publisher, and they sent me a welcome box for this year, which included Taming the Heart by Elliot Rose. This is a series that I've heard is very, very smutty. I asked some of you guys whether you thought I would like it based on how spicy it is, and quite a few people said that they think that it is a little bit too smut forward for me, so I'm happy just to pass on that one. If Books Could Kill by Laura Eberly is once again an arc that was sent sent to me by Penguin Michael Joseph, and I actually enjoyed this one. I think it's really fun, especially if you like romantic action adventure movies. It's very, very fast paced though, and it is almost like reading a movie. So while I had a good time with it, I know that I'll never revisit this story. What Lies Beyond the Veil by Harper L. Woods, I have had in my unhaul pile for a while, and I keep changing my mind when it comes to unhauling because I wanted to give this one a go. It's like a fated mates fae romantasy story, and back when I was trying out a whole bunch of different romantasy series, I was interested in it. I do think that Harper L. Woods does tend to write a little bit smuttier than I prefer though. Let me know what you think about this though. I don't think that it's going to be a standout for me, so I'm kind of happy to give it a go, but then there's a part of me that keeps wondering whether I would end up loving it and whether I should hang on to it. I recently read and really enjoyed The Bone Raiders by Jackson Ford. This was one of the books for Fairy Loot's Epic subscription, and in the comments of that video, actually Jackson Ford themselves commented and said that there is not going to be a matching Fairy Loot edition of the sequel to this. So while I do love this cover, the series is actually a straight to paperback series, which is great news because I love an epic fantasy paperback. So I've picked up a copy of the first book and also the sequel in paperback now, and while I do really love this edition, especially having read the story and understanding the design of it, I just really don't need to keep it. It was a 4-star book for me, not a 5-star, and so keeping this would just be because I'm struggling to part with it. I don't actually think I need to keep it though. I'm also unhauling Caraval by Stephanie Garber. I did really enjoy this one and I want to continue on with the series, but once again, with limited shelf space, it's not a series that I feel like I need to hold on to in hardback. Sad about this because this has been in my collection for a really long time. This is the original UK hardback with the hidden covers, and I picked this up when it was published, so like 2017, 18, 2017. So I was holding on to this mainly for nostalgia, but realistically I could use that shelf for something that I do actually really want to keep. Coldwire by Chloe Gong was a DNF for me, and it is sadly the second Chloe Gong book that I've DNF'd. I do really like her concepts, and I know a lot of people really love Chloe Gong, but there's just something about her writing that doesn't draw me in. One is the Fairy Loot edition as well, so it does come with the overlays, and I was really excited because this was the first book from Fairy Loot that I'd read that had overlays in it, and I had a really good time putting some of them in, which I'm going to put back in the envelope to pass this one on. But yeah, unfortunately I think Chloe Gong is a little bit of a miss for me. The only one of the Fairy Loot epic books that I've DNF'd is The Tower of the Tyrant by JT Greathouse. This one is a standalone epic fantasy, but it is very folkloric in origin, which is not my preferred kind of fantasy, and the tone and the style of this was just really not for me. I mean, we've already covered in this video, I don't really like forest fantasy. This is very much forest fantasy. It has like elements of The Witcher in it, which I thought were very apparent, but I do have that series still, the Witcher series. I've read the first collection of short stories, which I didn't love, but I gave that series the benefit of the doubt because I don't love short stories and I've yet to continue. But from what I remember of when I read that first Witcher book, the style of that didn't really appeal to me, so it kind of makes sense that I didn't end up loving this one. And then lastly, we have my Waterstones edition of Wolfsong by TJ Klune. I also really like The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. I was aware going into this that it was different. It was like his paranormal romance as opposed to being more cozy fantasy, and I don't love paranormal romance, especially when it deals with wolves, and lo and behold, I did end up DNFing this one because of those reasons. So those are all of the books that I am unhauling. The majority of my books I either donate, pass on to friends, or list on Vinted. My Vinted is always linked down in my description box if you guys would like to check that out. It would be worth giving me a follow on there as well if you are interested in any books that I may be unhauling, because typically I have listed the majority of them before you guys see the video where I've unhauled them, so you'll get kind of first warning if you follow me on there. But that pretty much wraps up this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. It's a little bit of a different one. Just because of the amount of books that I had to rearrange, I thought it would be fun to make a video out of it. And I don't have any room in my upload schedule because I've planned out all of my content until at least September to squeeze in a regular unhaul. So I thought it would be a good opportunity to talk to you about these books so that I can get them off to new homes, wherever that may be, and they can stop taking up space in my office. But I do hope that you have enjoyed this video. Let me know if you enjoyed this format, because it was a little bit different. If you have, please don't forget to like if you liked it and subscribe if you wanna. Tons of information down in the description box for you, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Oh, you bite your friend like chocolate. You say you're go where nobody knows, with guns hidden under our petticoats. We're never gonna quit it, no, we're never gonna quit it, no.